graders. I got fun things on my face. Welcome back for a math lesson. I need you to please turn to page 237 in your math books. And it looks like this. It's lesson 5-1, looking for patterns for multiplication facts. So this is what the page looks like, and you'll probably recognize this. This is a multiplication chart. You have a copy on your name tag at school, and I also sent one home with you with all of your materials. Hopefully your parents picked it up yesterday. If not, they can always come back. But the most important part is your book. So this is a multiplication chart, and we're going to be practicing using it. Some of us already know how to use it. Some of us need to practice some more, and that's great. That's why we're learning. We're practicing. And this is a really cool tool that can help us. So we have been memorizing. We've been doing reflex. We did our multiplication math sets. We have been practicing. You did 2 times 2, you did 9 times 9, you did 8 times 9, and almost all of you have passed all of your sets. And this is just another tool for us to continue practicing fluently, practicing our multiplication facts, okay? So today what you're going to be looking for is for patterns. So let's read the green box together. Max found that 6 times 8 equals 48. He noticed that 6 times 4 plus 6 times 4 also equals 48. So before we move on to this next part, I want us to actually look at the chart and see what Max is talking about. Move forward a little bit. Okay. So Max said 6 times 8 is 48. Oh yeah, we know that. My favorite little jingle. 6 times 8 is 48. Okay, so how we use this is we find one of the factors on this side, and we find the other factor on the top. So I'm going to find a 6 on the left side, and I'm going to find the 8 over here. And now I move my fingers until they meet on the chart. And the spot where they meet on the chart is at the 48. So now let's practice with 6 times 4. So they're saying that 6 times 4 plus 6 times 4 is 48. What is 6 times 4? You might already know that in your head. You might know that it's 24. Let's check on the multiplication chart. So to use the chart again, we find 6 on one side. We'll find the 6 over here. And then we find the 4 on the top. And now we move our hands, our fingers, and see where they meet up. The box where they meet up is what our answer is going to be. So 6 times 4 is 24. Let's see, 24 plus 24. Yes, 4 plus 4 is 8, and 2 plus 2 is 4. Okay. Now let's use the multiplication table to find 2 other facts. So sum is 48. So we want to find 2 other facts. Blank times blank plus blank times blank is going to equal 48. I'm going to go easy here. I'm going to say 6 times 1 and 6 times 7. So let's see if I'm correct. So 6 times 1, well, we know that that's pretty simple for us already. 6 times 1 is 6. And what is 6 times 7? I'm 6 on one side. And if I'm going super fast, please just pause the video, go back, rewatch it. No problem. Okay, so 6 on one side, 7 on the other. Sometimes I like to use my pencil to draw a line down And I draw a line over from the 6. 6 times 7 is 42. Maybe you already knew that. And then we add 6 plus 42. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep. That's it. 42 plus 6 is 48. So that is just one of the possible solutions. You could also do 6 times 2 and plus 6 times 6. You could do there's lots of combinations using that distributive property that we practiced with yesterday with that one question. We are going to just skip that bottom question. So just skip it and turn to the next page. I will click to the next page. You'll probably beat me there like you normally do. Okay. So this page is called How Can You Explain Patterns in a Multiplication Chart? So remember this page we just read and we learn, we take in the information that they are teaching us. Box A. Yolanda noticed that 6 times 4, or sorry, excuse me, 4 times 6 is double 2 times 6. How can you explain this? You can use a multiplication table to find patterns. So 4 times 6, that's 24, they have it highlighted in yellow, is double 2 times 6. Yeah, what is 12 plus 12? That's 24. You don't need to write that down, just showing you. Okay. Well, 12 times 2 is 24. Same equation. So how can we explain that though? Well, 4 is the double of 2. So 4 times 6 is double 2 times 6. And you can use that distributive property of multiplication to explain it. Look in box B where it says 4 times 6 equals, what can the equal sign also say? Is the same as, 4 times 6 is the same as 2 times 6 plus 2 times 6, which is 12 plus 12, which is 24. We've done this. Look at the highlighted rows. Highlighted is the colored ones. The product of any number multiplied by 4 will be double the product of that number multiplied by 2. So product again is the answer to a multiplication equation. Will be double the product of that number multiplied by 2. 2, 4, 4, 8, 6, 12, 6. What? Are you seeing a pattern here? Pretty cool. Pretty cool, pretty cool. So let's look for relationships. Look at the highlighted rows again of the numbers multiplied by 2 or 4. What pattern or patterns do you see across the rows? Well, if we look at the 2, this row, well, they keep increasing by 2. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So the 2s increase by 2, and the 4s, they increase by 4. So all of the products are even too. Maybe that was the first thing you noticed. All of these numbers are even numbers. All even. Oh, I meant to do 2 apostrophe. 2 is increased by 2. The 4 is increased by 4. And all of these numbers are even. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 30. They're all even numbers. So we're going to move on to the next page, and we're going to skip a couple questions. But we're still going to do some together, and then I will have you do some on your own. Okay. So let's skip 1 and 2 on this page. That's fine. We don't need to work on that one right now. We're going to be practicing with this later on. So let's just move on to 3 and 4. So in 3 and 4, use the multiplication table below. So let me scroll down. Well, can't see it fully, but you have it on your page. Number 3, what pattern do you see in the columns? Columns go up and down. And the rows, this way, that have 0 as a factor. So when you look at this multiplication chart down below, 0 as a factor right here, and 0 as a factor right here. So let's look at the column with 0 as a factor. What do you notice about all those products? Curious. With 0 as a factor here, what do you notice? All these products. 0 times 0, 0 times 1, 0 times 2, 0 times 3. What do you notice? Well, if 0 is a factor, 0 is a factor. What is the product always going to be? A 0. Your is 0. If 0 is a factor, your product is 0. Oh, number 4, explain why this pattern is true. Oh, let's see. We have talked about this before. There's a rule, a very special rule. I don't have the vocabulary card right next to me, but there's a certain property. Well, explain why this pattern is true. There's the 0 property of multiplication, which says anything times 0 is always 0. I can't multiply anything times 0 because there's nothing to multiply by. Okay. You can pause this video if you need to catch up writing this down. Otherwise, you can move on with me and do this bottom. We'll just chat about this bottom portion of this page on page 239. So this is meant to be your independent practice. And you're going to be looking for patterns on this multiplication table. And if you're still wondering how to use a multiplication table, I will post a video with more that you could pause now and practice a little bit more with it. But if you're feeling good, let's do it. So you're going to use this multiplication table over here and answer these questions here. Yeah, you're going to have to read each question carefully and really think about it. It's not just going to be a one and done type of thing, because you need to think about the pattern you see here. You're going to have to write an equation for every one of these. So I'll get you started. equation for this one is, well, 9 times 0 is 0. How about this 8? Which two numbers together equal 8? There's an 8 over here and a 1 up here. So 8 times 1 equals 8. Okay, I'm just going to cross this off as I go. And then you need to figure out what times what equals 14. 7 times 2 equals 14. Okay, so you're going to have to write 10 equations total for that. The number 7, remember factors are the numbers you're multiplying. And you're going to shade a line in the multiplication table to show a pattern for this last one. All right. Good luck. Have fun. Ooh, sorry about that. See you next time.